Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Quick Draw, it's all about penetration and a wide spread when we take a look at the Fluctus. So, the initial release of the Fluctus left me a bit confused because I was pretty sure this thing was going to be some kind of space crossbow. Instead, it shoots out horizontal blades of energy that cut through anything in its path. Now, while its concept was interesting enough, its damage didn't seem quite up to snuff. However, a recent bug fix brought the Fluctus back into the game, giving its penetrating projectiles the elemental boost that it needed to make it relevant. Now, with my initial hangups resolved, the question here is, exactly how effective is our wide shooter? So, you can pick up the Fluctus's blueprint in your clan dojo's Tenno-Lab for 15,000 credits. Just be aware that you will need the barrel, which drops in Corpus Arcwing Sabotage, the limbs, which drop in Earth Arcwing Interception, and the stock, which drops in Uranus Arcwing Interception missions. Now, if that shit's too much for you to remember, you can always pick it up in the market pre-built along with the catalyst for 210 plat. Now, the Fluctus's primary damage type is slashing, alongside a little bit of impact and a minuscule amount of puncture. Now, specifically in Arcwing runs, there is a large amount of armored units on both the Corpus and the Grineer side, making slashing a little bit less potent than in regular missions. So, as always, be sure to equip the proper elemental combos in order to guarantee the optimal amount of damage. So, the Fluctus's primary feature is its ability to launch horizontal blade-like projectiles that travel for about 275 meters, punching through all targets in its flight path before dissipating. Now, in my personal opinion, I do feel that the flight speed on each projectile is a bit slow. So, if you're using this towards its max range, do be aware that you will need to get used to leading your targets. It's also important to learn how to gauge how many shots it takes to eliminate enemy units, due to the fact that the Fluctus does have a fairly small magazine size, and delay between travel time and impact can cause you to shoot way more projectiles than you actually need, forcing you to wait for your ammo to recharge. Now, as statistics go, this actually sits towards the top end of burst DPS for arc guns, which is a good thing since it needs to compensate for its limited ammo capacity, range, and the fact that it's projectile based. Sadly, it also has the longest reload of all Arcwing weapons, sitting at 3 seconds, meaning that its ammo regeneration is a bit slower than the rest of the bunch. However, it does have a decent crit chance, and its status is on par with many of the other Arcwing weapons. So, while it's a bit different, statistically, it isn't too far out of the box. Now, speaking of things that are a bit different, can we talk? Okay, so straight out of the gate, I was super confused when I fired this thing off for the first time. I was expecting intergalactic arrows of awesomeness instead of horizontal energy blades, which upon further inspection don't quite line up with the fact that the arms of the Fluctus are vertical, which just throws me deeper into that pit of my own confusion. So of course this leads me straight into men's underwear. Now hear me out, there is nothing more confusing than going on a date with a cowboy only to have him drop trow and find out he was wearing see-through black mesh briefs. I mean, you go on with your bad self and do whatever makes you happy, but if that shit isn't confusing, I don't know what is. And let me tell you, us gay men are the biggest culprit in all of this. We've got twinks wearing jock straps, and you know for a fucking fact the only sports that they've played is FIFA 2015. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got all of these big ass burly men wearing little neon briefs, and let me tell you, there is nothing that throws me off more than a neon green waistband contrasting with a big bush of butt hair. But at the end of the day, it's all about wearing what makes you happy, regardless of how confused you leave everyone else. Or you can just do what I do and wear absolutely nothing. That tends to get my point across. Now, private attire aside, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, I have to say that this has become one of my favorite arc guns. In my experience, it works really well when you're about to engage in a head-to-head clash or are on the tail of a fleeing enemy. Basically, whenever you're lined up with your target. It's also great for showering capture points that have been swarmed by enemies, allowing the energy blades to hit multiple targets within the trajectory. Once you've learned how to work around the limitations of this weapon, it can become quite powerful. In addition, it comes with an innate dash polarity, which can be used for an electricity elemental or a mag extension mod, which I'm quite a big fan of for this specific weapon. So, if you're in the mood to get up close and personal, the Fluctus is well equipped for multiple penetrations. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you missed them, I'll toss up links to both the Centaur and the Velocitus as they are a couple of my favorite Arcwing weapons. Now, don't forget to do the thing that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, be sure to stay tuned for more of my bottomless pit of confusion here at A Gay Guy Plays. Holy fuck, you need to calm down with all them jukes. This isn't League, motherfucker.